Time now for a market check. Golly, was it a crazy week or what? But I got to tell you, it's interesting because today, it might have been the most impressive session of the week. I mean, stocks rallied into a summer weekend. We hardly ever see that. Apple was down. It reversed intraday. That was pretty good. And quietly, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but the Eurozone, they kicked that grease can down the road. 86 billion euro deal done. Oil may have hit a bottom. That started to turn. Hey, we went one day without China devaluing the currency. And in my mind, there's a whole lot of amazing values out there. Now, they still need a spark, but I think they're poised nonetheless. So I think disaster was diverted, although some may say it was delayed. In my mind, we're oversold. But again, you should be ready also to pounce on a few names. But we've got a panel here. Let's see what Jim Frischling has to say. He's the president of New Old Capital and Fairfax Global CEO Paul Dietrich. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Hey.
All right, hey, Jim, haven't seen you in a while. You got that nice capitalist suntan. You were in Italy, huh?
I was in Italy. Yes,
right.
I was.
You were here. Did you get back from most of this crazy week, this carnage?
I did, and I have to tell you, I think overall the markets have held up incredibly well. I like your comment about finishing in a summer weekend on a high note. There were many reasons to sell. Certainly, I think we're still dealing with a hangover from the China effect, and yet I think saner heads did prevail. The flow of funds, by the way, have been somewhat, more than somewhat, have been negative to equities, and yet the markets are, in fact, fairly resilient and holding up. So I feel pretty good about the way we finished the week.
What do you make of that, Paul? Individual investors, I mean, this has been going on for a long time, but it really picked up pace, to Jim's point, just dumping. I mean, we talk about bull markets being overly enthusiastic. People have been selling mutual funds and ETFs associated with American companies like crazy. But 2 days ago was the busiest day for Goldman Sachs' buyback desk. So corporate America is buying stocks. Americans are selling those stocks. Who's right?
Well, you have to understand, the U.S. economy has really changed a lot over the last, with oil prices going down, everything happening, and you've got to look at the trends of where to find value. And you can see them in the recent earnings reports. Earnings were slightly down. That was last quarter. That was purely because of energy. And if you take out energy, earnings were actually up 5.7%.
I agree. Earnings have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Take out NG, but why do companies report numbers and then get slaughtered? For the most part, there are only a handful of companies that went up on earnings, whether they were good or not. And I thought that spoke to the emotions and the mood of the market, not the fundamentals of the market.
They're not looking at the fundamentals. They're looking at what's happening in China. China, the market went down. That was a benefit for the United States. I mean, we import 4 times more goods than we export to China. They've lowered the price. I mean, these are nice people. They buy our debt, and they're subsidizing our consumers.
I actually agree with you. They certainly buy our debt. But I think there were a number of companies, certainly the large global companies that were making a big bet on the Chinese middle class being consumers of our products, and clearly that is now a challenge. To your point also, oil, I believe people thought about cheap gas. Isn't that great? Fact is, drop in oil hurts a lot of jobs. I think that's been a headwind for us.
But middle America, though, I think this is a good week for them. The stuff they buy at Walmart might get cheaper, and they go to the gas pump, and I think they're starting to spend it a little bit. Wall Street might have been hurt. The big multinationals were hurt. So it's a split. But I think the American people might have actually done better than we saw in the market. You guys come back a little later.
Absolutely.
In the meantime...